Man, has it been a while, but today I'm bringing you a tutorial on how to sew the Retro Sparkle Designs bodysuit. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. You already know the stuff. If you haven't, where you at? Follow us on the social medias, which is here. You can pause if you need to. All right, now let's get started. So here's the pattern. You're going to need the front piece. I am using the knee length version. So I just folded my pattern piece up. You'll need the front and the back. You'll need the strap piece, and you'll need the front and back binding piece. I am going to cut my binding a little bit wider, which is 1.5 inches thick. I just like that length better, so I've cut my pieces out. It's, I think, 2 different straps and 2 front and back pieces. So I'm going to put my front and back right sides together. If you've been watching my tutorials, then you pretty much know this part by heart. So front and back right sides together, side seams, and this little crotch curve here. This is what it looks like when it's done. You can serge or zigzag stitch with a regular sewing machine. So now we are going to snip the front and the back of that neckline just to get a middle point. Tiny little snip, just enough to denote the middle. All right, and I'm going to fold my binding pieces in half, just enough to denote the middle. Repeat with both of them. And I'm going to pin the middle. It'll just make it easier to stretch this on there. And so you'll just stretch it to each side, and this is what it's going to look like. I do believe this is technically like a 1/4 inch seam allowance here when I'm not cutting anything off. But I'm just doing this edge here, and this is attached to the wrong side. Because when I flip it up and top stitch it down, as you can see here, I fold it. So you're going to fold that part up, fold that part down, and create like a little sandwich that you top stitch. That's what it looks like. If I can get this thing to focus here, so you guys can get a good idea of what it looks like. This is called a faux binding or whatever, and so this is just a good method to do. If you're quick and dirty, do it quick. I'm going to show you one more time for the visualist people, if that's even a word, visualist. Visualistic people. But that's what it looks like a little sandwich. And so I'm going to top stitch right along here. So I'm going to go over to my serger. And they actually have a flip for this, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here and get started. And when I get started, I like to pull these little strings here and do it very gently till I make sure. And then I like to stretch everything out, make sure everything's on top of each other like it's supposed to be. And do this very slowly and gently. Use as many clips as you need to get it done. Alright, I'm going to pull my threads and snip it here so it brings all the threads to the back of the garment. Of course, my camera would lose focus. Me too, camera, me too. Alright, so that's what it looks like. We're going to repeat the same steps with the back. I like to just clear these up, clean these up, not clear these up. Y'all know what I mean. So yeah, that's the regular foot, but there is an actual binding foot. This is what it looks like here. I'm going to go ahead and put it on there just to show you the difference. It really doesn't make that big of a difference if you're doing like the method that I just showed you. It will come in handy if you are using the binding attachment. The only thing is, if you're using a binding attachment, I recommend to cut your binding pieces a little bit longer because you can't really measure well as far as like the middle point, which is why I typically don't use it for things like this. But yeah, so you just sandwich it again, pin it all up. I like to pin the outside edges and then pin the middle. And then if I need any extra clips on the sides, I can do that. But this little binding foot here, it just kind of keeps it from going backwards. And of course my threads would mess up. No big deal. If your thing happens to like get stuck, the best thing that I do is I open up my little what's that called? A door, and then I pull my looper over, and then I push it back, and it kind of releases that looper thread to keep it from bunching. So that's a good little tip. So then I'm just going to start over again. As you see, I didn't have to take out my threads or anything like that to remove the bunching. I just opened the door and pull the looper. It's like a lever, I guess. I don't really know. But as you can see, I kind of messed up there. So what I'm going to do is just clip these little threads, undo it, and then redo it. I think I'm going to use my sewing machine to do that, though. All good. It's just sewing. That's the best part of this, is it's just sewing. It's not that big of a deal. You can always fix it. I have had to learn that over the many years that it is just sewing and you can always fix it. And if you can't, it'll be okay. All right, so here's the binding attachment that I talked about earlier. I don't use it for this type of garment just because, like I said, it has a specific measurement. On these straps, you could probably get away with using it and then just cut the straps at the end to be even. You just kind of put that in there like this, squish it in, and you pull it out. But I'm not going to use it. But that's what it looks like. That's the one specifically for this. So here's the little strap pieces. I am going to find the middle point on both sides. Of course, you can't see this on the camera because I'm silly and didn't notice that it wasn't on camera. All right, there's one that you can see. All right, and so again, I am going to place this. So as you can see, my garment is inside out, and I am applying this binding piece to the wrong side of the garment. And I would place it right side to the wrong side. My binding piece, it doesn't have a front or a back, so I'm not paying attention to that. But if your binding piece has a front and a back, place it wrong side to, place it right side to wrong side. I'm pretty sure that's right. All right, so I just put the middle point and then I'm kind of stretching it to look and see where it needs to go. I'm stretching it just a little bit to get to these front and back points here. I'm going to clean this up so that it doesn't get caught in my serger when I go over that. All right, so there it goes. Only thing I would recommend is cutting that strap a little bit longer because I found at the end of this that they're kind of short if you want to like tie a bow or something. So I just start serging the edge of the strap all the way down, taking care to keep this where I need it to be. I'm not really cutting anything off of the serger, so if you need to turn your knife off, whatever, I don't do that. I just pay attention to what I'm cutting off. So I'm just going to pretty much bind these two, not bind these two, this is this is the faux binding part here. I'm just attaching the binding strip to the actual garment now. Y'all are just going to have to excuse me and my silliness because I've been going through it. Mentally, it's just been a mess. But I am finally, hopefully, to a point where I can be bringing you guys more tutorials. So thank you guys for being patient with me. So this is what it looks like on the right side. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it up like this. So I'm just going to kind of cover that seam, fold that one side up, fold the top side down, and now fold it onto the right side of the garment here. And I just kind of pin where I want to pin it to keep it all together. Oh, good Lord. My leg's going to sleep as I'm doing this voiceover. I was sitting cross Indian style. Oh, wait, that's probably not the right way to say that. Am I going to get canceled because I said that? I'm sorry. That's what we called it. Crisscross applesauce. There we go. That's better. I'm sitting crisscross applesauce in a closet video or doing the voiceover for this. So this is how I get shorter videos for the people who complain that my videos are too long, which I feel you. I can talk forever. But yeah, I'm just pinning, or I'm not pinning, I'm clipping the binding strip down just to make it super easy when I pull it through the cover stitch. And if you don't have a cover stitch, you can use a sewing machine. You can use a twin needle on a sewing machine. I do recommend you lengthen your straight stitch if you're going to use a straight stitch on the sewing machine because you don't want it to pop. Stretch stitch kind of looks goofy in my opinion. Please don't cancel me on the binding. But yeah, my daughter did that with the clips, if you just saw that. She was making a masterpiece. So, all right, here's the end of the strip, of the binding strip. Just going to pin it. And like I said, use as many or as little clips as you need to get it done. Alright, so we're going to move over here to the cover stitch. I did keep that binding foot on there just because. Alright, so like I said, I pull these strings a little bit to get this moving. And then once it goes through, mine's being silly, of course. Again, I'm going to open this door and pull the looper lever and then push it back over. Make sure your needles are up, of course. Yeah, and then it kind of releases that little bunch there, and it's good to go. So that's a good tip there. You didn't have to pay for that. Alright, and then you just get going. And you're going to remove your clips as you go. Of course, you couldn't do this if you had your clips on there. It wouldn't go through. Just keep everything lined up. And you just want that front piece to be right on top of that back folded piece. That's the best way to get the best binding. So, I mean, for this, in my opinion, slow and steady is going to make this the best looking garment. Once you master it, you can go faster, but just to make sure everything stays where it's supposed to stay, this is not the fastest method, but it works. I didn't pin or clip the last piece here, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold it so that I can keep going. And now my foot's asleep. Alright. So again, when I'm done, I just kind of pull my threads here. You can check out my cover stitch tutorial if you have this cover stitch. I can't speak for all cover stitches, but this one in particular, I do share my tips and tricks and settings on how to get the perfect what is that called? A hem or a top stitch. So you can check that out. We have tons of videos too. If you haven't checked them out, you can go to our page or just hit the, Recapture Values button and then hit the video. So that's what it looks like done. Very beautiful, very pretty, stretchy, great, awesome. And then you can choose to finish the straps on the end. You can fold them down and like top stitch them over. I'm not going to do that. I don't even know if you can see it. I was trying to show, but I guess it's not on the camera. But yeah, then you need a cover stitch or hem, however you want to hem. You can use a sewing machine. You could honestly use a lettuce hem on these if you want to, or lettuce, what is that called? Is that what it's called? Lettuce hem. on the edge of this to hem it with a serger if that's all you have. But if that is all you have, then you probably didn't do the binding. So yeah, so I'm just gonna hem these short parts here. Or are they shorts? Yeah, they're shorts. Y'all, I feel like I'm losing my mind, so just send good thoughts my way to get my life together. Humor does make everything better, though, so I'm still my goofy self. Just slowly getting back to the normal things that I do and used to do and who I am, so just stick around. Alright, so I hemmed that, and we're just going to repeat it with the other leg, and voila! Then you just tie the little shoulder straps. Like I said, the only thing that I might do differently next time is add some length to the straps. I'm just making sure these are even, and then I'm going to just tie the ends of the straps to finish them, yeah, to make little knots on the end. But like I said, the only thing that I might do differently is lengthen the straps next time to maybe be able to like tie a bow. But yeah, that's it. That's what I did to the ends. This is the ending. I did add my little tag on the side, just for purposes of branding. But it's super cute. I love the cotton candy fabric. I got this from Fabrics Universe on Etsy. So yeah. Super cute. Love it. And there's a bunch of patterns you can pair it with on Retro Sparkle Designs. I did put the link in the bottom. It is an affiliate link, so if you purchase through there, I do get a little kickback. So help you girl out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I am going to post another video very soon.